Hello guys, you are welcome to our tutorials today, and today we'll be discussing on anatomy 211 and on the aspect known as the thoracic cage. Without waste of time, let's start with introduction to the thoracic cage. What is the thoracic cage? The thoracic cage simply means the bony structure that encloses the region of the body known as the thorax. These bony structures includes the ribs laterally, the sternum anteriorly, and the thoracic vertebra posteriorly. This is a rough representation of the thoracic cage. It shows the sternum anteriorly, the ribs laterally, and posteriorly you are going to see the thoracic vertebra. Now let's talk a little about the components of the thoracic cage, which we refer to as the ribs. The ribs are 24 in numbers, and you can simply say there are 12 pairs of ribs. These ribs can be classified into different types depending on the classification you are using. You can classify ribs depending on their attachments. You can classify them depending on their morphology. Let's classify ribs depending on their attachments. Depending on attachment, ribs can be classified into true ribs, false ribs, and floating ribs. Classifying ribs according to attachment, we said we have true ribs, false ribs, floating ribs. True ribs include rib 1 to 7. False rib includes rib 8 to 10. Floating rib include rib 11 and 12. Now let's start with the true ribs, rib 1 to 7. Why are they called true ribs? They are called true ribs because their coastal cartilages comes in contact directly with the sternum. Let me explain this. The head of a rib is located posteriorly, and as it moves anterior, it ends at a point, and its coastal cartilage is what touches the sternum. Let's say this is a rib coming posterior, from posterior to anterior. When it gets to this point, there's a cartilage that touches this rib, known as the coastal cartilage. Anywhere you see the word coastal means ribs. So coastal cartilage simply means the cartilages that attaches to ribs, and it connects the ribs to the sternum. They may connect the ribs to the sternum directly or indirectly. Connecting the rib directly to the sternum, these type of ribs are referred to as true ribs. So true ribs are ribs that the coastal cartilages connect them to the sternum directly. Rib 1 to 7 are classified under this category. False rib, on the other hand, do not attach to the sternum through their coastal cartilages directly. They do not attach directly. They attaches to the coastal cartilages of the upper ribs and indirectly touches the sternum. So those ribs that their coastal cartilages indirectly touches the sternum are referred to as false ribs. Note, the coastal cartilages of rib 7, rib 8, rib 9, and rib 10 form a strong structure which we refer to as the coastal margin. So what forms the coastal margin, if you are asked? The coastal margin is formed by the coastal cartilages of rib 7, 8, 9, and 10. Rib 11 and 12 are referred to as floating ribs because these ribs just stop posteriorly. They do not have any coastal cartilage, and they do not attach to the sternum directly or indirectly. So there are 10 floating ribs. This is the classification of ribs depending on articulation. In my next video, I'm going to discuss on classification of ribs depending on their morphology. But take note of these special points at the end of the class. We've talked a little on the thoracic cage. Do not confuse the thoracic cage for the thoracic wall. Remember I said the thoracic cage is the bony structure that surrounds the region of the body known as the thorax. The thoracic wall is not just formed by bones. It includes the bones and the muscles that encloses the thorax. Between the ribs, you are going to see some muscles. So the muscles that you see in the thorax and the bones together are called the thoracic wall. That's the difference between the thoracic wall and the thoracic cage. Thank you very much for watching this video. We'll continue from here next time.